Hey, just waiting to go live on Instagram. 2 seconds. All right, we're on Facebook. And we're good. Hey. So I'm back for another episode of Powerhouse Conversations. And today I want to talk about something that really happens in the industry all the time. And yet, I bet if you're watching this, you really don't believe that this can happen to you. And that is getting offered work. Getting offered like really good work. No audition, no self-tape, no competing against, whatever, however many different other people, other actors. Just getting a call or getting an email or getting a text that says, "We really want you for this. Are you available?" And I know what happens in most actors' brains when they hear about someone getting an offer. They think that there there's an explanation for this, and it kind of lets them off the hook. They think, "Oh, they're just lucky. They were in the right place at the right time, like something extraordinary happened, whatever. It's not going to happen to me. It's unlikely." And the second reason is nepotism. Her dad's the producer, um, whatever. She went to school with the director. And sure, some of those things are real. That does happen. But here's what I want to tell you today and what I want to teach you today. In the last few years of my career, I will say that I have booked more work from offers than from auditions, which is actually kind of crazy to think about, at least on the film and TV side. And I don't come from an industry family. My family is like teachers and work at the post office. And, nobody handed me anything with regard to this career as an actor. But what I do have is a process. And I'm not even as consistent with that process as I would like to be, if I'm being completely honest. But what it is a learnable process that makes me someone that people in the industry, certain people, think of when opportunities come up. Clip that. That is what today is all about, how offers actually happen and the real mechanics behind them, and why the actors who get offered work are not luckier than you. They're not better connected than you. They're doing something different, and that something is something that you can start doing this week. So this is episode 24 of Powerhouse Conversations. How actors get offered work without auditioning. It's not luck and it's not nepotism. So let's get into it. So first, I want to give you the distinction that changed how I think about my entire career. There are kind of two modes you can operate in as an actor. One is chasing mode, and one is a mode of being wanted. Chasing looks like this. You submit to everything. You send your materials into piles with hundreds of other actors. You follow up hoping that someone noticed you. You take every workshop hoping the casting director remembers your face. Your entire energy is, please pick me. You're always the one initiating. You're always the one asking. You're always the one waiting for a response. And a lot of times you feel like those responses just don't come. You don't get a response. And here's the thing about chasing. It's not wrong. It's how most of us start because we have to start somewhere. But it has a ceiling. There's only so far you can get with that. Because when you're chasing, you're competing with a lot of other people. You're competing with all the other actors who are asking to be considered, who are asking to be looked at. Being wanted is a completely different mode. Being wanted looks like casting directors remembering you months after they met you. It looks like reps referring you to other reps without even being asked. It looks like directors who worked with you a few years ago calling you about their new project. It looks like friends attaching you to projects that they're developing. Basically, you are receiving opportunities that you're not directly applying for. And when you're wanted, you're not competing with anybody. You're not in a crowded area. You're not in that area at all. You're the person they thought of before they ever posted the breakdown. Clip that. Now, Here's the question that really matters. What is the difference between actors who are chasing and the actors who are wanted? It's not talent. I know incredibly talented actors who are stuck in chasing mode. It's not credits. There are actors who don't have huge resumes who get offered work regularly. And what I'm talking about here is not luck or family connections, because I've watched actors build that wanting status from absolutely nothing. The difference is that wanted actors are running a relationship process. They're doing it consistently, they're doing it deliberately, and they're doing it over time. They are reaching out, they're staying in touch, they're showing up as human beings, and they're becoming genuinely known by a circle of industry people. And sometimes that circle is kind of small. But when a project comes up, they're not just one submission in the pile of submissions. They're not just a little thumbnail on Actors Access or Breakdown Services. They're a name that comes to mind. Offers don't come from the industry discovering you. They come from the industry remembering you. And being remembered is something that you can create. You can engineer this. Clip that. So now I want to kind of pull back the curtain on how offers actually happen, because from the outside, it looks like magic, right? Somebody just got a role. What? Without auditioning? But when you trace that offer backward, there's always a chain. There's a way that it happened, and that chain almost always starts with a relationship. The first way, someone you've worked with before is making something new now. This is super common, right? A director you worked with on a short film 3 years ago, they're now directing episodes of TV. And, they think of you for that because you have kept in touch with them. Or a writer whose reading you did is now getting their pilot made. And, they loved working with you on the reading. You did them a favor then, and you've kept in touch. A producer who liked working with you is casting their next project. They already know your work. They already know you're professional and you're easy to work with. So why would they want to audition 300 strangers when they already know you're right for it? And here's what most actors miss about this. That offer that you just got was generated 3 years earlier or whatever, like a long time ago, on set or during that stage reading or whatever, when you were prepared, when you were kind, when you were memorable, and it was kept alive by staying in touch. The actors who work with someone once, they might be great, but then they disappear. They don't get that call. The actors who stayed connected do. Clip that. The second way, someone in your circle refers you, right? Or maybe a casting director can't use you for a casting director can't use you for their current project, but their colleague is looking for exactly your type, so they pass your name along. Or a rep who doesn't have room on their roster for you right now mentions you to a friend at another company that they think you would be great for. Or an actor friend who's booked on a project tells the director, I know exactly a person who would be great for that, right? None of these referrals came from a submission. They came from being known and liked by people who talk to other people or trying to help other people out. And then the third way is that someone has been watching you. And this one can be kind of surprising because we put stuff out there all the time, but we don't necessarily think about all the eyeballs who are seeing it. But casting directors follow actors on social media. Directors look at tapes. They remember tapes from a long time ago. Producers keep private lists of actors. When you are consistently visible and you're sharing your work and you're showing your creative energy and you're staying present in like the ecosystem, in the conversation, people are tracking you quietly. And one day the right project crosses their desk and they reach out. And that looks like luck, but it's not. They were watching you. They were aware of you. And that's because of actions that you took. So notice what all three of these things have in common. In every single case, the offer came from a human being who knew who you were before the project existed, not from a submission platform that they wrote, a description for and sent out a request, whatever, from a person with a memory of you making a decision to bring you in, which means the question is not necessarily how do I get offers? The question is, how do I become genuinely known by more of the right people? Because offers are just the byproduct of being known. That's it. Clip that. So this seems so simple, right? If the path to offers is being genuinely known by industry people, and the way to become known is consistent relationship building outreach, then why doesn't every actor just do that? I'll tell you why, because outreach is terrifying. What? You want me to do what? Reaching out to a casting director that you admire with no audition attached, no reason except wanting to connect? That triggers every insecurity that all of us have, right? Who do I think I am? I'm going to annoy them. Why would this person want to hear from me? What if they don't respond? What am I even going to say? What if I do it wrong and I burn the bridge forever? So instead of doing the thing that produces offers, we do the things that feel safer. We submit more, we take another class, or we redo our website, or we stay busy, whatever, doing all kinds of shit, honestly, because that doesn't require us to risk personal rejection. A submission that goes nowhere doesn't hurt the way silence after sending an email hurts. Clip that. And I want to say something about this fear because it's not irrational. It's not. Reaching out is super vulnerable. You are, in a real way, offering yourself to another person and giving them the chance to not respond or the chance to say something that's kind of like hurtful. It takes courage every single time. I've been doing this for years and it's still scary. I still feel like my stomach is fluttering before certain reach outs or I procrastinate or whatever. But here's what I know now that I didn't know as well when I started. The fear is a terrible predictor of the outcome. The reach outs I was most scared to make are some of the most important ones of my career. And when I talk to actors who've gone through this outreach process with me, because I teach a whole process around it, they say the same thing, almost word for word. The thing that I was avoiding for months took 3 minutes and it turned into the best thing that happened all year, all month, whatever. There's an actor I worked with, a specific actor who I'm thinking of right now, who had been avoiding reaching out to this one specific casting director for months of knowing that she should and thinking, oh, I should do that and not doing it. And when she finally sent that email, it was just one email. It turned into an audition. That audition turned into 2 bookings. Then he invited her to direct and coach for his company. And then he agreed to come speak to her community. She's also a coach. 4 separate wins came out of that from one email that she was avoiding sending for a long time. Just sit with that for a second. Clip that. So let's talk about what this actually looks like in practice, right? Because if I just say, build relationships, like that's just not that helpful without specific advice. Hi, Meg. Hi, Kenny. Hi, Alexa. Javon is here. Great. Okay. So here are the principles that make the outreach work. All right. First, you're going to reach out without an ask. The most powerful reach outs have no agenda, right? You're congratulating someone for having booked something or had something picked up or whatever. You're sending them a genuine note about how their work moved you in some way. Or you're checking in with someone that you've lost touch with. How are you doing? It's been a while. It's been forever since we talked. How are you? What are you working on? What's going on? No pitch, no request, no headshot attached, right? Just human connection. And this feels counterintuitive because it doesn't feel like marketing, which is most of what, you feel like I talk about. But it is the most effective marketing there is because it's the kind that no one else is doing. And then the second thing is that consistency beats like intensity. One reach out a day or 3 a day or 5 a week. If you can sustain that over weeks and months, that will transform your career. If you do a burst of 20 emails one weekend, followed by a year of not doing anything because you're like so burnt out and so like exhausted from that's not going to produce the same result. Okay. People need to encounter you repeatedly over time for you to become known. This is a practice, not a huge project. Clip that. And the third principle is that your existing relationships are everything. They are the gold mine here. Most actors think that reaching out means cold contacting people that they don't know, like strangers and stuff. And it mostly doesn't. Sure, there's some of that, yes. But I'm talking about classmates, your former classmates, directors from student films you did, actors you've worked with, that casting associate you did a workshop with 2 years ago. These people already know you, and they're one like warm message away from being active connections again. So start there. And then fourth, play the long game with people you admire. For the people who don't know you yet, the casting directors and the directors whose work you love or who you want to be seen by, start with genuine acknowledgement. Tell them what their work meant for you. Ask for nothing. That is actually so rare. And so it stands out a lot. You're not trying to get something from them this month. You're not trying to get them to watch your reel or whatever. You're becoming someone that they recognize over time. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you honestly. Knowing these principles and actually doing them for like a set amount of days straight are two different things. And that doing part is what falls apart for a lot of us, right? Like we know what to do, but then the fear creeps in, or the doubt creeps in, or you have some wins early in the process and then you stop, or you get silence and then that makes you stop, right? There's a whole arc to the process, and knowing what's coming is the difference between finishing and abandoning it in a week or two, right? And that is exactly what I'm teaching you in this free class next week. So on Thursday, August 13th, I'm teaching a free live class called 21 Days to Wanted. You can join me from anywhere in the world. It's live on Zoom. It's 60 minutes. And this is going to be a real working session. Okay. I'm going to show you how actors go from invisible to wanted in 21 days of consistent guided outreach. So I'm going to teach you the 4 stages that you're going to go through: the fear, the excitement, the doubt, and then the wanted moments, right? I'm going to tell you what a producer who's been working in the industry for 30 years does with that exact same fear. I learned this process from her, really, and I adapted it for actors. And I'm going to share the full story of how my own outreach led to getting a manager offer. And I wasn't even looking for a manager. I had a manager. Wasn't looking for a manager, got a manager, and it's been amazing. Completely changed the number of opportunities that I'm receiving now. And I'm also inviting 4 other actors who actually completed this process. They're going to be there at the class live. They're going to tell you the truth about it, including the actor that I mentioned earlier, the one who's that one email turned into 4 different invitations. Okay. So you're going to hear exactly what happened for them and also what's hard about it. I'm going to be completely honest with you about this. So this is Thursday, August 13th, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's completely free. And if you're not available for that, you can't make that live, register anyway. I'll send you the recording. You can watch it whenever it's convenient for you. Okay. The registration link is in the description on YouTube, but it is powerhouseactor.com/wanted. So if you feel like you've been just chasing mode for years and you're ready to find out what it feels like to be wanted, what it takes to be wanted, come to the class. I'm going to teach it to you. Okay. So I'm going to open this up for questions. Monet, Monet Boy 42, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. I think this topic is really important, and I am excited to talk about it, honestly. Positive bro, you are welcome. You're welcome. So I hope you too can attend the class. I hope that all of you who are watching can attend this class. Oh, Meg, I love you. I was actually thinking about you. I'll call you and we need to catch up. So questions. If you have questions about outreach, if you have questions about the class, whatever, let me know. But here's what I want to leave with you today. Here's what I want to leave you with. The actors who get offered work are not luckier than you. They're not. They're not better connected than you. They're not more talented than you. At some point, they just started running a different process. They stopped putting all their energy into the very crowded area of like, will you consider me? And they started building genuine relationships with people who create opportunities. That's all. And the industry did what the industry does. When you start showing up that way, started remembering them and referring them and reaching out to them and calling them and offering them work. That's it. That is available to you. Not someday, now. The process is learnable. The fear is survivable. And the results are almost always better than what you were aiming for. So come to the class on Thursday, August 13th, and I will show you exactly how it's done. Okay? You've spent enough time chasing. Come find out what it takes to be wanted. Clip that.